Hello everybody, I'm here for the Hammer Game Channel. Welcome back to the 1000 Week Reich and to a new playthrough. We're not playing as Germany for once. We're going to put Germany to the side for a while. We're going to play as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and we're going to make the Union great again. So, what a great focus to start off with. After long consideration from Comrade General Secretary Beria, the failures of the Soviet Union can be attributed to the state socialist policies of its predecessors. It may be time to finally abandon vanguardist rule and reform socialism for a new era of recovery. Fantastic. So yeah, you're probably wondering, where is the Kaiser Redux Walt Disney run? And I will be abandoning it for the time being. We are going to come back to it soon because my save got broken anyways. There was bits of the map missing, and why am I trying to build stuff in Germany? It just broke on me. So I'm going to restart that when once we've kind of got the DLC out the way as well, because obviously we're checking that out. So I will come back to it. I can promise you that. Basic anti-tank. Do I need anti-tank? Yes, I do. I do. I need all that jazz, and I need motorized. We'll leave tanks kind of out of the equation for the time being. 3 on you. Actually 4, 2. There we go. Fighters will get in at some point. Wartime CAS as well, and the strats. Start off with 33 divisions, not too shabby. And I think what we need to do is we need to actually expand quicker to the east, to the west. I do want to get Ideological and Transvolga before the Germans can get it. But obviously, I'm hoping Germany is going to end up going into a civil war anyways this time around. They're not going to avoid it. They're going to go deep into the fun stuff. So, Beria. Oh, we've actually got 4 national spirits right now. The Union in shambles, which is just awful. The Soviet Union is in complete disrepair after the war with Germany. Their economy, population was greatly weakened to a point of total collapse. The Soviets have lost control of vital parts of the Union, greatly damaging the Union's economic abilities. Glorious Red Army. There's some good to it, but it's also not great. Party factionalism, not great at all. NKVD's reign of terror. Encryption, decryption's up, but division recovery minus 20. Not great. And there's a Bengal truce, death there. Egyptian martial law. British influence. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Egypt. But yes, I think we need to focus on going east and just to limit the Russian Republic's control. Confederation of the Kingdom of Netherlands and Indonesia have declared what? Wait, I'm sorry. Let's see that name again. The Confederation Kingdom of the Netherlands and Indonesia. Blinking heck, that is a mouthful. There goes King George. Are they actually able to win? No, they're definitely not able to win. Definitely not. It's a shame these all take 70 days. Germany tests the atomic bomb. Begin a democratic transition. We ain't wanting no democratic transition, thank you very much. Norwegian thaw. Spain's going after Morocco. So yeah, I think we need to prioritize east over west for the time being, because I don't want the Russians coming and knocking on our back door really when we're trying to deal with the Germans. Wow, we're making none. No wonder. Authoritarian system is what we're actually on right now. Okay. Are we maybe going to change to like a facade democracy or something? Okay, more wars are kicking off. The USA has tested the hydrogen bomb. Let's prepare for limited privatization. Although we may not have nearly as much land as we did in the past, we should begin redistributing the state's assets back into the hands of individual enterprises. Lenin's NEP brought the Soviet Union out of the darkness of the Civil War. A new economic reform will reinvigorate us now. One-off map military factory. Hoorah! Hoorah! Yep, India won. Who would have seen that coming? Kiesling wins the struggle. British control in Africa. Britain tests the atomic bomb, so you should be with the UK then in a second. Italy's messed that up. The Gulag revolts. Beria found dead. Early this morning, our General Secretary, Lavrentiy Beria, has been found dead in his dacha. It has been reported that he was unresponsive when one of his bodyguards attempted to wake him. The reported cause of death is blood loss, with his genitals allegedly being bitten off by a woman performing oral sex on him late last night. Well, what a way to go out. That would have been painful. Oh, God, just thinking about that. Oh. Soon after, the Politburo was notified, and its members have, with a unanimous vote, established a provisional government and began the session to vote on a new leader. Across the Union, citizens have been both disgusted and pleased by the news, with some even celebrating. While police officers are ordered to suppress any acts of open celebration, reports suggest that local authorities have generally turned a blind eye on this issue. Okay, dead meat. News from the former Soviet Union is rare, but multiple sources are reporting the leader of the rump USSR, based in Perm, and Beria is dead. Brought to power after the disappearance of Stalin, Beria asserted his rule over a collapsing nation destroyed by Nazi onslaught using powerful NKVD. Known to be exceptionally brutal, he ruled as leader of the Perm government, controlling a large portion of central Russia beyond the Arkhangelsk-Astrakhan line until his death. The cause of his death is currently not known, but it is clear that this event will lead to a struggle for power within the rump of the Soviet Union. Interesting. And that has cancelled that focus. Okay. The Politburo is unified in thought and purpose, a cohesive instrument guiding the Russian people into the harsh dawn of an uncertain world. There is no room for disagreement, no room for compromise. The people's vanguard, in other words, is locked into a unity as pure and glassy as the surface of the polished floors of the Perm Central Party headquarters. This is the official line, a line that none dare question, for even if the NKVD is absent, the party apparatus continues to operate with a cold efficiency. It is an inspiring vision. If a little mechanical, it is also false. In a locked room far from the noise and life of Perm, the illusion of unity breaks like morning wind upon the Ural steeps. The pretense, having fallen, bitter factionalism becomes the order of the day, with the deafening cliques of Soviet politics forming around the core candidates Bulganin, Konev, Molotov, Kruglov, and Zhukov. Here at last the party stands on issues so sensitive they are verboten to discuss outside the Politburo itself can be discussed without fear of the executioner's noose. Here, the future of the Soviet Union and of the Russian motherland stands on trial. Despite Beria's clear preference for Kruglov, little can be done to influence the course of the debate itself. Statues set down by Kalinin have ensured some degree of accountability on the part of the NKVD, making the shutting down of rhetoric too tedious to bother with. The factions have also achieved rough parity in terms of support, perhaps a clear sign of legitimacy of this entire process. It might be chaotic, it might even descend into anarchy, and many people will be labelled reactionary roaders, but the Soviet Union will be defined on level ground. The Politburo prepares its notes, and by extension its gossip. The debates are coming soon. To the victor belong the spoils. I quite fancy putting Molotov in charge. I really do. Shady dealings in the Reich. Okay. Okay, the future of the Union debate. Unification. The Politburo, in the best interest of the Russian people and the proletarian struggle, have chosen for its first issue of debate a relatively safe topic, unification. Virtually the only thing that all candidates can agree on is that the Russian lands must be unified under the authority of the Perm government. Everything else is up for debate. The main problem with unification, military means notwithstanding, is that the Union will have to adapt to ruling over vast, lands still weary of Stalin's yoke and embittered with the tight grasp of the regime and its swift near collapse in German hands. How do you rule a people you fail to defend? Is trust even possible in such circumstances? The Politburo is not used to debates with such incendiary ferocity, and certainly not debates of such tremendous length. For hours the debate rages, for it arrives at the bottleneck, the definition of the word union. What is the scope of federal control in a land as diverse and confusing as Russia? Should suzerain, what the hell is that word, be limited to administrative matters, or should the centralized government rule directly? If provinces are to be ruled into federal district governments, how tight a leash should the government use to rein them in? And should governors have legitimate political authority? The crucible fizzes, candidates circle around one another like vultures, snapping and drawing blood at the first sign of weakness. There is no clear winner, no clear loser. In the end, it falls to the Politburo to define the bottleneck for the candidates, as per Politburo procedure. The conclusion of the debate hangs on the response. If the governor is powerless, Russia's province will be pauper holes. Oh, if the governor is empowered, Russia shall rip itself to pieces. I think I'd rather have Konev get support. Oh gosh, preservation. Right, preservation of the Union. The subject was so controversial, nearly got vetoed by the Beria NKVD for its implication that Soviet socialism was somehow imperfect, before Beria was convinced by a gathering of his advisors to let the matter be discussed. Nevertheless, a subject that is dangerous is almost certainly important for the precise reason that it is dangerous, and thereby calls to question the fundamentals of the Union and the laws it follows. What can be reformed, what can be thrown out, what is worth preserving? Only the most hushed of voices dare to ask this, but a clamp on free speech will not make reality go away, and the Union is worth everything, even treasonous thoughts. Again, the debate simmers and boils at irregular intervals. The institutions of the Politburo and the Central Committee are above reproach, of course, but the role of the apparatchik bureaucracy is hotly contested from the start. Many have observed the old Stalin-era jokes about inept and corrupt officials are still alive and kicking precisely because the officials have remained inept and corrupt. Perhaps the bureaucracy should be reformed into different ministries, even privatised. Or perhaps the answer is stricter control, the creation of sister agencies to ensure that the will of the state is carried out. Perhaps a mixture of the two, or perhaps the bureaucracy should be done away with altogether and its functions decentralised. The debate hits a bottleneck once again. The Politburo must decide. The future of what is meant by the word Soviet depends on it. Let the apparatus be whipped into obedience and Russia will prosper. I can top that. Let the apparatus be purged and reorganised to teach them better. Oh, Zhukov. I want Molotov. I don't know how we go about getting them, but I'm going to try. Future of the Union debates, economic advancement. All the Politburo wish for the Union's sovereignty, renewal and strength. All the Politburo also know that without prosperity, the goals outlined above are essentially pipe dreams, or worse than meaningless. The issue of the economy, no matter how boring it might be, is critical to any form of Soviet renewal. The motion is passed with extreme reluctance. The experts brought in from the Ministry of Interior, the paperwork checked from handy statistics to throw at ideological opponents. The debate is joined on a cold and wintry night in the bowels of the Perm Central Headquarters for the livelihoods of the Russian people. The debate jumps and skips upon the use of statistics and information as candidates scramble to prove that the new economy policy, the 4-year plans were the perfect state of economic organisation, a critical instrument in leading Soviet Russia to collapse, or somewhere in between. Data piles up to the point of exhaustion. Who's keeping tabs on the Russian people's standards of living? Does the market guarantee those standards? What does it mean to push for liberalisation and decentralised markets in a land where maybe 30% of the population are illiterate and capable of advanced labour jobs? No one can agree, and a trend that is quickly becoming a weary predictability for the Politburo. Politburo watches as the candidates begin to attack each other's stances, waving a composite fabric, a common narrative of economic development that will shape the victorious candidate's economic policy. It's all coming together, but there must be a dominant thread in this debate. What shall it be? No mention of Molotov at all yet. Plans were key to the Russian growth, and they will see it. Do you know what? Bulgarin can have some support as well. Future of the Union debates the legacy of socialism. Socialism is the white elephant in the Soviet room. It is no lie to say that under the dynamic times, the Soviet Union has been through significant ideological redefinition, adjustment, outright reform, and even creative destruction has radically changed Lenin's original interpretation of Marxism. Lenin's writings were shaped by trying times, but with German boots on Russian soil and the Rudina broken into wearing fragments, one could certainly argue that the time has come for another radical redefinition of socialist apparatus, another revolution in theory to precede a revolution in the physical. The motions carried in thick books of theory are taken, skimmed through, and quickly cast aside in favour of much easier readers compiled by ideological officers. The debate is joined and quickly broadens to seemingly endless depths and horizons. What is the classless society? Is the vanguard still necessary in its current form, and if not, how can it be made relevant to the new circumstances of fragmented Russia? Ideological agendas fatally weakened the capability of Stalin's government to give compelling feedback, so should the party work to decouple the ideological agenda from its current aims, or should it be done while ensuring that the leader is kept accountable for his failings? Who wields control of government affairs, leader's party, bureaucratic apparatus, or some combination of three? 26 hours later, what have they been doing? Debate is adjourned. The exhausted delegates stumble home to tell their wives, husbands, and mistresses that one line has been successfully pushed to the consensus in the Politburo, though sheer willpower alone, this line involves. Vanguard must uncouple itself from the state. Another Stalin will doom Russia. No reform is critical. The vanguard shape the state to more pertinent ends, or the vanguard's ideological disobedience led to its defeat. Keep the party proper. Oh, I'll go with this one. I'm just kind of guessing to how we're going to get Molotov. I guess we kind of want to just balance it out. New ideological debate, legacy of socialism discussion was simply a prelude, an introductory discussion for the greater issue awaiting the Politburo. If socialist theory and application is up for debate, well, perhaps it is time to determine the form of ideology appropriate to guide Russia into the future. Perhaps it is time to press the red button to begin talking about the future of the Union in its most visible form. The Politburo is not superhuman, and its stores of courage are in short supply after the last debate's proceedings, but the motion eventually passed after heavy, strong arming on the part of the NKVD, who have apparently decided that now is the appropriate time to begin giving the Politburo a choice in their own direction. With guarded glances and worried comments about whether Beria is looking too closely at one's immediate corner of the room, the debate is joined. What does socialism look like? Must it be tailored to local circumstances, guarded with force? Can liberalisation be entrusted to people below the party, or must it be led from above? What stage will the classless society appear at? And until that point comes who must guard the revolution, and transmit it like a beacon into distant nights. As the day lengthens, some dare to venture further still. Perhaps if the people are not ready, it is whispered, a need to transition to the preceding stage is the only factor capable of catalysing a successful revolution. After all, is not the existence of the NKVD proof that ideological consciousness is fundamentally flawed in the people of some fundamental level? And if that is so, what need has Russia of the party, or the controlled economy, or even of the vanguard? This last debate is the most intense, and on several separate occasions, fistfights nearly break out over screaming delegates accusing each other of betraying Russia. Even so, the Politburo manages to muddle its way to the conclusion, and with it the end of the future of the Union debates. Our loyalty to the Hamon sickle must be aligned with faith in the Russian sword. The Red Conclave. Halls of the Perm Kremlin now remain silent. Only the Politburo room itself still teems with life. The men there have here. They have spoken, but most importantly, they have voted. Now remains only for the votes to be counted, as the future of the Union hangs in the balance. And Konev wins the debate. Say that terror can guard the lips, but it cannot hide smiles. The author of this saying has clearly never met Ivan Stepanovich Konev. As the whispered conclusion of the debate spreads virulent amongst the waiting Politburo, the man himself steps into the chamber, his smile almost vicious in its intensity, and smiles vanish like lights switched off in some unimaginable vast room by children in a hurry, one by one. In their places comes fear, and tightened lips, and begrudging nods. Today Politburo acknowledges Konev, and it will never like him. Konev doesn't care. It isn't love that won him the debate, and it won't be love that secures him his seat. Konev's militant, near-brutal responses were not initially considered favourable to the Union, or even to the Politburo's long-term health, but as in the end the tragic necessities of the present circumstances of the revolution proved sufficient reason to favour his responses. Konev will sacrifice much in the way of freedom. He might even sacrifice the quiet and isolated liberties that are the last true possessions of the Soviet citizen, of speech, thought, and much more. Will it have been worth it? Konev certainly thinks so, as he assures the audience in his acceptance speech. Anything is worth the sanctity of the Union and the Unification of the Rodina. Formalities are exchanged, old levelers in the Constitution pulled and the buttons pressed. Handover ceremonies are tedious, if only because they are transactions of informal as well as formal portfolio. So much detail remains to be sifted through, and so much more remains to be done. New era is uneventful for the Russian people. With the new Premier's office, well, it will not be uneventful for quite a while. In a faraway office of the NKVD, a dossier examined and set back in its cradle, hopefully never to be touched again. Respect amongst professionals, after all, is a code of conduct to be observed at all times. Congratulations, Premier. Boom, and Konev is here. And this is what we are playing with today. This is our tree. And we're going to be getting rid of so many people, it's going to be unbelievable. Anyways, the Commissars, Iron Order. Emerging victorious from the grand debates in the wake of Beria's death, Ivan Stepanovich Konev has emerged victorious. He aims to take Thomas Hobbes' theory of the state to its farthest extreme, an all-encompassing state that channels the feeble might of each and every citizen into one. A people's singularity so potent it will destroy every foe of socialism, no matter their strength, no matter where they may hide. Goodbye to my stability for the time being. Okay, right. Is this dealing with... That's dealing with Russia. Konev has been declared president. Nuclear bombs? Oh, the lens reversed. What the hell is this? Some are calling it a bold, literally reimagining of the history. Others, the scramblings of a madman. Either way, Ivanov's new novel, The Lens Reversed, is a work that cannot be ignored. The novel, published in their party auspices in the Soviet Union and disseminated with much difficulty by Marxist organizations across the world, describes a world where much the Roman Empire never fell, embarked on the liberation of the south and north over the course of 5 centuries before splitting into 4 cardinal directions. Europe in this world is but a backwater to the book's real focus in Asia. A rapidly modernizing Japan has colonized much of North America and southern Africa, and the Mongolian Russian plains, the strange and egalitarian creed of the Mongolian state, has carved out a new vision of humanity. Ivanov's Mongolian protagonist, Bilgun, takes part in several pivotal struggles between the state and its imperialist American and Japanese rivals, including a long bloody war along the Manchurian border that is a transparent parallel to the Great Patriotic War Ivanov himself experienced. As Bilgun struggles against the decadence of his countrymen, he begins to take an active role in his country's own politics, while at the same time shaping the men and women around him into a noble, self-sacrificing force for a greater good. The novel ends on both a narrative and global cliffhanger, with Bilgun announcing his abdication in favour of Yam Garnik, a follower of the strange new creed of Romanism. His timeline is equivalent of socialism, and rebuild his world anew in this image of the militant worker as the Japanese and Mongolians race toward nuclear weaponry. It's clear that the coming storm will be far more brutal than the last. International reaction has been mixed. One reviewer bitterly argues that if statesmen were meant to dream about implausible worlds, perhaps Churchill would have kept his job. While in the whole of the novel has received a positive response, several Asian communist leaders have already noted the prominent role of Central Asian proto-socialist movements in the work as an implicant endorsement of their own struggles for national liberation, and the work has even made its way into the office of Ho Chi Minh himself, albeit in a much abridged form. In realistic, what are plans to dam the Alaskan strays? And the alternate history market is really crowded nowadays. Rogues from the Japanese army firebomb the world. What the heck? I'll just say that one. What the? Okay, that was an interesting event. Can that be all the reading that I have to do for now? So, those who must die. Who are you? That's, is he still in our government? Yes, he is. Bulganin. And Kuglov. Kuglov is this one. And then we deal with Zhukov. Okay. He was allowed the rotten disease to spread for too long. He may be a hero of the motherland, but he will not tolerate ideological error even in his little quarters. Okay, that's kicking off. He must die. Internal position. That gets rid of so much stuff. Exile to Siberia. What the hell's Unit 17? Psychokinetic experiments. What on earth is that? Okay, new NKVD research endeavors. Religious superstition changed humanity to false idols. It reduced us to beasts, tapping our feet to the tune of the Purges. The light of science shall deliver us from these shackles, but first we must unshackle science itself from its burdens, bureaucratic control, warriors' rights, false morality, all must go. Black sites in the Colma area to be expanded. Relocation of villages in the Colma area into Colma. Black sites authorized upon relocation of village populace. Villages to be destroyed and reported. Okay, no one cares about the UK. Destroyed and reported as destroyed due to natural disasters. That is a very interesting route and it has piqued my interest. We do not now have the T-55s, we need them. Yes, the AK-47, woohoo. Observations in scattered disk area to be expanded. Bodies in the scattered disk area theorized to consist of ice. Correlation with the phenomena of comets theorized. Project Argus continued. What the flippin' heck is this? Focus of Project Gilgamesh to be shifted onto study of the nature of pain. Surgeries of the internal organs without the use of sedatives authorized. What the hell? Study of reaction to pain upon removal of sensory organs authorized. Refactoring surgeries for purpose of observation of chronic pain authorized. What the hell is all that? HOI4 is this document referred to as RSIV launched at 100. Airs orbit. Okay. What the hell is this? Subliminal message sightings to be expanded to 8 hours. Subliminal message sightings to be supplied by lysergic acid dithium. I don't know. What the flippin' heck is this? Experiment. Creation of the 20 by 20 kilometer compound authorized. And NKVD operation teams are to be proceeded with Class A authorization of state redistribution and codename Kalinin Kolokov. Referred to Institute of Biology and Behavioral Sciences. What the actual hell is this? Civilian Chemical Weapons Facility. I'm sorry, like nukes sounds like great and all. Like it really does sound good, but what the hell is this Unit 17 route? I'm going for it. Unit 17 all the way. That sounds bloody batshit crazy. Yeah, because we need to try and get down here as soon as. Send the armor into the countryside. That's insane. Gosh, I guess there's war goals in all of them. Which I'm hoping we can beat the other Russia to. If they get a couple of them, I'll be fine. If I can get a lot of them, if I can at least get these 3, I think that'd be beneficial for us. Actually, if I can get all of them, it'd be even better. I don't want them out strengthening me really. Not really well equipped right now either, though. That's the only issue. Now here we go, the Sino-Vietnamese War is now underway. I'm not too bothered about dealing with the Germans right now. But we do have to get down through this as well, though we need to work quite a lot on that. It is long known by many that Konev has become a madman, but just to what extreme extent this is in the case is known to few people. Having achieved power, he wastes no time pouring resources in the hands of the like-minded madmen, scientists and pseudoscientists of all kinds, all brought under the control of the NKVD's secretive new unit, a new Unit 17. A vast array of different areas are looked into, from the mundane such as biological and chemical experiments in rocketry, to dark avenues such as mind control, eugenetics, and human experimentation. Even total pseudoscience such as psychokinetics are experimented on and gain funding and resources from an obsessed Konev. The experiments are only just beginning, and their usefulness to Soviet society or the Soviet army is extremely questionable. They will nonetheless be key feature of Konev's dark agenda going forward, performed in secret locations dotted around Central Asia and Siberia. The horrors to come. But it does give us some nice wee research bonuses here, and I'm very interested to see what the psychokinetic experiments do. See if we manage to get some psychokinetic shit going on. Oh my days. It's gonna be fun as fuck. And pardon my French. Come on, Ethiopia. Take them down. And Morocco has what? Oh my days. Okay, Einstein's about to die, sadly. Yep, there he goes. Killed in Israel. Wait, is the Emperor dead? British Kenya, waiting for the opportunity to liberate his homeland. But he's not here. People's victory in Sweden. End of the Algerian War. Don't know what they're going to do. What did the French do? They opted to become a British puppet. Well, that's great. What are you going to do this time around? Are you gonna change again to the communists, or are you actually gonna be boring? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, that's an interesting conflict that has just begun. Actually, I did all countries that agreed to join. Okay, interesting development. Francisco Franco has died. He's passed away. This is just weird. I can't wait to finish that focus next episode. It's gonna be flipping great. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave that episode there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall be back very soon for some more. Until then, take care. Cheer bye. The now.